Lost in Translation podcast. My name is Kamari Johnson. We're in the Solano TV studio today. I'm joined with Lexi, Nathan, and Diana. And today we're just going to be talking about everything that we learned in our public speaking, or not public speaking, group communications class today. Anybody wants to start us off?
I can start us off. So for this first part, I kind of want to talk about like specific things that we learned about, like communication concepts that we learned about, and just little factors from like the modules that I remember. Like for example, the communication process. My communication process, like everybody's communication process is different. Mine, I'm very like scatterbrained. Like I'm extrovert, I'm scatterbrained. Like I have a bunch of thoughts and I don't usually say them in the right order, or they're not in the right order in my head. I'm like translating a concept into words, and it's kind of difficult to like get that to come out.
Yeah.
But I think in this class, I learned how to better like take that concept and kind of funnel it into words. I had an example written down. I think it's one of them is probably from my signing class, and all of like I'm an ASL major. That plus this class has really helped me figure out how to word things differently than how I would usually word them. Like that there's not just one way to say something, that I can say it in multiple ways.
Synonyms.
Exactly. or like changing, which kind of also goes into perception, but like changing a single sentence that means the same thing, but it makes people view me differently. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it'll make me sound smarter or sound more personable. Like
Yeah.
there's that difference. That
I definitely
learned how to
understand,
control.
like kind of like where you're trying to come from, in terms of being like kind of scatterbrained when you're talking, or just trying to like tell a story. I know I'm like all over the place when I'm telling stories
Yeah, we
or
know.
pretty much everything. Yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
jump around a lot. But honestly, I feel like what helps me be grounded is being more like active in the conversation with like my listening and like letting other people talk, because I know I can talk. So like trying to let other people talk and actually like really listen, show that you're showing attention, and actually taking in the information is just something that I've been working on this semester. Trying not to talk too much.
Yeah, I did the same thing where I had to stop myself a lot of the time because I was like, oh, I have a thought for this, but I was like, let me wait and let them, finish their thought. Like, let me shut the fuck up real quick. Like, let me calm down.
Yeah.
I have that too. So, as anyone who's watched the previous podcast knows, I can talk a lot and go on lots of tangents. But ironically, I actually had to relearn how to do that because for the longest time, I actually wouldn't talk very much. I would just kind of keep to myself, read my books, and just kind of leave everyone else alone because I'd always, growing up, to stop talking, you talk too much. So relearning all that social stuff and relearning how to, oh yes, need to stop and let someone else talk. Oh, they're not, no brain, they're not actually finished talking. Wait
Yeah.
a minute. Don't just wait for a single pause of breath. Try to actually.
Yeah, don't be like, oh, you breathed, let me talk now.
No, my brain
I used
actually
to suffer,
tricked me. Yeah.
Sorry, I just did it.
I've done it
I'm
too.
learning still.
We just happened to accidentally talk at the same time.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time where as soon as somebody took a breath, I would like immediately take it and be like, it's my turn. And I was like, okay, it's actually not my turn. I need to let other people talk.
You were going to say something, Diana?
Oh yeah, for me, I think first coming into this class, my biggest thing was like, I have a hard time talking when I don't have notes because I don't feel confident enough. Like, even if I have the notes, I won't really look at them, but it's just knowing that they're in front of me definitely helps. And so, yeah, that's like one of my biggest issues, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I felt very much the opposite in that way where like doing notes for me stressed me out because I felt like I had to rely on them.
Yeah.
Like I would do, like for an outline, I would have very, very few bullet points of what I wanted to do. So it'd be like the name of something I wanted to talk about. So instead of like having like the actual, like unless it was like a direct source that I wanted to quote, that I would have written out. But otherwise it would be like a concept, like the name of a concept. Like if we're talking about language and semantics, I'd be like, talk about semantics. Like that's what I would put because I've done the reading and understand it enough to be able to put it down to refer to. And that's how I did my notes this semester. But I think doing that is also, that's great because you're quicker at picking up whenever there's a like quiet spot. you can be like, oh, I have something right now to refer to. While for me doing that way, I can talk on a tangent for it, but I can't pick up when there's a moment of silence.
Yeah, typically, like, my brain works in a series of basically word game.
Wordle?
Sort of.
Crossword?
Word association games.
Oh.
So my brain works in references.
Yes.
Whenever I try to explain anything to someone, I will be like, okay, have you seen this? Have you
This
read
is
this?
true.
Okay.
You
see,
just
yeah,
did this
yeah.
like 5 seconds ago
I
before we
did.
started.
'Cause
You
I
asked
were
me about the most obscure movie and referenced it to jelly beans being sugar rocks.
No, Sweet Rocks.
Sweet rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It
just did this.
it just pops in my head, and I can't just say like, oh yes, they are Sweet Rocks, because no one would understand. So I'm like, okay, do you have the basis for
Yeah,
this?
you were
Do
like,
the
have you
code?"
ever seen this movie that I know you don't watch
No,
movies?
no. I didn't think like you actually watched it. I thought that maybe you saw it like on display, like in a store or something. I don't know. It was kind of.
That was really funny though. You were like, I know you haven't watched this movie, but have you ever heard of it? I was like, no, you've lost me.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
But that's actually something that we really like, active listening. I don't know why, but that made me think of active listening. Because we are actively trying to communicate, I guess.
Yeah.
That's something that we've actually improved on quite a bit, I think.
Active
since
listening, I feel like in the beginning we all kind of sucked at it. No offense.
Just
Okay,
kind
I'll
of
say I
sitting
sucked at it.
quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay,
speak for
I'll
yourself.
talk for myself. For myself, I zoned out all the time, and I was like you probably look in the podcast, but I'm like fully dissociated, and I'm just like, and I'm like, oh, I actually have to pay attention, because I wasn't used to that, having to actually like fully pay attention to everything. Because when I'm in like a conversation outside of the classroom in a group of friends, I'm usually also on my phone doing something, like, because I have people texting me about work, about other classes. Like, I have other people texting me about different things, and so I have that on the side while I'm also listening, but I'm not usually like full eye contact with somebody. I'm like not really looking at
You're,
them,
like,
but listening
semi-eye
to them. Yeah,
contact.
We're
I'm
all
like
just
never
ADHD
fully
messes.
invested.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I know.
So learning to be like fully invested in somebody when they're talking has been a struggle, but I feel like I've done better.
Oh yeah, because for me, whenever I always, and when talking with someone, if I'm the one talking, I will glance away and I will look at anywhere but them, because I find that by looking directly in their face, I lose my train of thought, because I'm instantly taking in like their facial expressions and their nonverbal communication, their body language and stuff, and that makes me lose my train of thought. And then if I lose my train of thought and I'm trying to get it back, lots of filler words, lots of filler sounds, and then I see their facial expressions and their body language is slowly becoming more like, I am kind of getting bored and sick of this. Would you just stop talking
They're like
already?
yawning.
No, just more like the eyes glazing over, and
Yeah.
then like the subtle of like kind of pointing. When you are talking with someone, if their toes are pointed at you, you know that they want to talk to you. Like subconsciously, they're pointing their toes at you because they're facing you fully and they want to talk to you. But if
You went like this.
they have one foot like pointed away, or like both their feet pointed away, they're kind of like turned at you. That is their posture of, hey, I'm not really invested in this conversation right now because I have somewhere else I need to be, or somewhere else I want to be. Which can be a little frustrating if you are constantly looking down, because you run into things a lot and you notice everyone's feet are pointed away from you.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen occasionally, because this is college where everyone is on the go and busy.
I think another, unless somebody else has something else to say. No? Okay. I don't want to take all the time. Another thing with like, non-manual markers. What?
What do you mean?
Non-manual markers. Is that what we were just talking about?
Markers?
Oh,
I think
nonverbal communication
that
markers.
one. Non-manual markers are a different thing.
I was physically looking for the markers.
No, like, never
Yeah,
mind.
I got you.
But yeah, nonverbal communication, I think specifically like when we are recording, I feel like you can tell when somebody wants to share something, because they typically will like perk up, or they sit up straighter, or they're like, it's
They
like
lean forward and
yeah, they're like lean forward, like it's like they're raising their hand, but like they're not
Without raising their
yeah,
hand. Yeah.
like they're like
it's to show that they're
I
engaged.
have something I want to add. Yeah.
Meanwhile, for me, half the time it's just because I'm like, I have been slouching and I need to
The
not.
natural like check-in.
Yeah.
For me, I was gonna like ask you guys for like the first impression, kind of like going back to that.
Oh yeah.
It's because we all took that last class before we got into this one. I
Intro to
wanted to
public.
ask
Intro to
you
public.
guys. Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys like, for me personally, like the hardest thing or like the scariest thing I would say was like, you know how in our last class, Puff made us do this our literally the first day.
Was it
we
the
had
chairs?
this assignment that was so scary, where it's like everyone stood up and like had to memorize each other's names before leaving the class.
I actually still do
And-
that.
Like after
Really?
we did
Well, because I
that.
work in a place where we have lots of regulars.
Oh, that's
you
true.
do that?
Yep, and they're like, "Hey, put it on my put it on my tab," and they just walk away. And I'm like,
Who are you?
because I'll have a coworker. I'm like,
I
"Do you know
hate
who they
that.
are?" Like, yeah, I got you. I'm like, okay, good.
I feel like after we did that, I definitely felt more comfortable and like I could do easily the speeches. And then we did a lot of group work in different groups, and so it was easier to get to know everyone. In this class, I feel like like if we had just, I mean, I know we did that like the first few days where we like everyone. I think was it the first day where we got up and we did our like kind of like an intro like
No,
a
that-
speech.
The gold speech?
Yeah.
That was a
Was that already, like,
was
the
like
first
a
week?
week
That
or
was like a week
two.
after the first.
Yeah,
I think because we didn't like
That
do
was
something
second
like
week.
that, I was so scared to like talk. Like I literally felt like I was
A
gonna
lot of
throw
people-
up. Yeah, it was
yeah.
like so
You could s-
scary.
Yeah, the first time I was
Oh, I
like
remember
shaking
that.
every time I
And it
got
was
there.
less people than our last class. So I guess I wanted to like ask you guys how you guys felt about that.
Like this class being less than that one and being more secluded, or
More like how we did that first activity and how it made us like, for me, it made me feel more comfortable like talking to everyone, going up, doing a hella speeches and like, because I already knew everyone's names. And then like we did a lot more assignments where it was
Yeah.
like kind of like Amari, he left us and did a podcast with someone else, and he you know
yeah, you ate
And so-
what did you eat? You like asp whatever it was.
Aspig.
That
Oh, yeah.
it was like meat. It was like meat jello or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
it was me jello.
So like, you know, did that make you guys feel more comfortable as to like in this class where we kind of barely know the people, and the only like reason that we do know them is because like they're kind of here.
We had the
but it's
same
like
the
we have to
college
watch
speech,
their
the collage
podcasts.
speech.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is mostly about communicating in groups, and so we have a bigger focus on working in our groups. So I feel like that helps. Like, it's
Yeah.
they're four different things. The intro to public speaking is more about, hey, let's interact with anyone and everyone, versus this is how you communicate in a group, in your assigned group. Because when you're at work, you're gonna have a group.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what kind of job you are. Like even in retail, there's the managers in one group, and then the people who are like at the registers or
And,
people
like,
who
the
are
crews,
sweeping.
yeah.
You'll have your own crews. So you need to know how to navigate those situations, which is I feel like this is a good class for that.
Yeah. I think that you were gonna say something.
Yeah, so like I feel like the big difference between the two, kind of just going into public speaking, that was actually like one of the first classes I took at Solano. And for me, the reason why I took the class initially was because I've always been like a easy person to be friends with. Like I always like make friends, but I feel like ever since high school and then going through like COVID, quarantine, I just never talked to anybody new, and like I feel like I lost a lot of skills. And so like kind of like that break in between the winter break, coming from that class to this class, not only did we not know most of the people here, it was the fact that if you don't use your skills, you lose them. Like practice makes you perfect. And I just felt like going into college, like I had no communication skills with like any people, and I was using it to like take myself out that bubble. Same thing with some of the psych classes too. Like I would say I'm a psych major, so
Yeah.
the psych classes kind of helped me just realize that I'm just very anxious, and it's not that like I'm just inept or something like that. But I've actually worked on it. I'm actually like a lot better. I've met like a lot of new people here, outside of here, like in work, just in the real world. But pretty much the whole point of it is just like practice makes perfect. And like obviously none of us was like giving speeches or talking to a whole group of people that we don't know. Like I'm assuming over the break.
Yeah. I mean, but that might be in our future.
Yeah.
And I mean, I felt the same way. Like, I've recently started going to Forgotten Path games.
Yes.
It's where Lexi works, and I go every Tuesday and I play games with them there. And like, the only people I know is Lexi and her boyfriend, and that was
Well,
like
you're starting to learn our group.
I learned the group really quickly, and I think it has to do with like working in a group and also having that public speaking as like a foundation for how to talk to people, like as a single, like as one person talking to a group of people, and then also being in a group, like, and the whole group is talking to each other. I think both of those classes have really helped me in building relationships and friendships with people that I think will probably last for a while.
I'm glad. Something that also helps for people who cannot go to college at this time or whatnot. Ironically, working in customer service actually kind of helps because you have to speak up, you have to talk to people. And if you especially work somewhere loud or a food place, a restaurant where specifically you have to call out, hey, your order's ready, you have to learn how to raise your voice in order to project it across to like when everyone's talking. I used to work at a pizza restaurant back when it was actually during COVID. We were considered essential workers. But before COVID came and shut everything down and shut down our in-person dining, we were so busy. We had like 4 parties at once, so like kids' soccer teams. And it got loud. So, and our comm system didn't work very well. So you had to belt, hey, your order's ready. But like, while keeping it polite. And having that experience did help me a bit. Going from like the super, super quiet in high school to being still like not really wanting to be loud, but I will be if I need to. And then coming into college and having to do presentations. Oh my gosh, the first presentation I had to do before Intro to Public Speaking, it was so awkward. I was like, I don't want to talk. I don't want to be in front of people. But the projects that I've had since then, while in front of, I can handle it a lot better now.
Yeah.
Because we have the tips and tricks and the things we've learned.
Yeah. Did you have something?
Yeah. Man. Kind of just to bounce off of that, though. Just kind of, oh, man. I'm sorry. I'm lost. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's okay.
As someone who worked in like community service for like 4 years now, because I started working at 15, so I was working at Chuck E. Cheese, bro. Do you know how bad that is? It was a humiliation ritual.
That is.
There was like a requirement, like a height requirement for the suit. So they told me like
The
That's
suit?
that happens at Disneyland too. Certain characters have to be certain heights.
Oh,
I
wait,
did not
It was
hear
so
that.
bad.
you were too tall,
But
right?
okay, yeah, I was too tall.
Oh yeah, like people who would play Mickey Mouse had to be like 5 foot.
And then
I was too
there was
short.
like this whole dance they had to do when they were in the suit. Like, come on, it was like a whole thing. Like, and you had to sing happy birthday to the kids. I had to put myself out there like 100%.
Yeah.
And I was like not the most social person at the time, but it definitely took me out of my shell. And like, I remember I had a lot of coworkers at different ages and stuff. And I was so like, I wanted to make friends with the people, but it's so hard to do that when you can't find any similarities. And so that's kind of like what I was thinking. Every time I keep thinking about audience awareness because I feel like we keep ever since I learned about it here in this class, like I genuinely use it more than I know. Like it's even the smaller things, like when you have aux in the car, like you're like, what should I listen to? Like based off the people that are in the car, you know what I mean? And oh shoot. And yeah, it was hell, but
Yeah.
You endured. You survived.
no, it was horrible. I quit like so fast too.
Yeah, I think audience awareness. For me, I use it, but I feel like you have to be careful with audience awareness because if you're too like in your head about the audience, I feel like that can affect how you communicate, how you present yourself and all that. Like, I feel like it adds a level of stress that you don't necessarily need. So for me, when I like first was learning about audience awareness, and using it, I would not really, like I would be like, okay, yeah, that's the audience I'm presenting to, that's the audience that I would like to like cultivate, something like that. But I wouldn't dive too deep into what they actually think because I feel like that could like send somebody into a negative spiral. I mean, we've seen it in social media where like people are like content creators would be like, oh, I don't read the comments because why would I? That's a horrible thing to do. Like, I'm sure that most of it is good, but there'll be like a 5% that's not good. And I think I have that kind of mentality for it, where I don't want to dive too deep into that audience awareness because I don't want to like hit that 5% that just ruins it for me.
Yeah, I think the most of it is you just gotta, when like researching, if you're going to a specific place to do like a seminar, you have to keep in mind like local things because take for example slang, something that means something where you're from may mean something completely different there. So you just have to be able to like just look up like, hey, what are some I guess you can either look up like offensive or non-offensive to
Yeah.
like to make sure you don't accidentally say the offensive ones.
Get canceled real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
You would know.
Because like if you're going up in front of an audience that is very dry humor, very like dark humor, you can get away with some stuff. But if
Yeah.
if you're not, and
With
you
like a
say
bunch of Karens, you gotta be careful.
not even necessarily Karen, just people who are very like easily offended.
Yeah.
Which would you would assume that would be Karens, but not always, because Karens are just the ones who are like openly like will say it to your face, oh how
Yeah.
dare you, versus other people who just tweet about it. Oh no, sorry,
Yeah.
is it still called tweeting if it's called X?
We're gonna call it tweeting.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you call it. Posting.
Xing? I don't know.
Xing. Yeah, I'm
And if
Xing
you're going
it.
X's and O's,
X marks the
kissing.
spot.
It's good.
I don't know which popped in my head.
I feel like if you think about it though, like, I don't really understand the negative aspect of it, but like if like
I love that for you.
just like thinner, like, cause I don't think that much into it, but like it's, I
Oh.
think it's everywhere, like
Well, you're just
genuinely.
doing what I did.
Like if you're just talking to a person like one on one, you're still finding things that you have in common to talk about so that you can keep them interested.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna talk to a football player about like high heels and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess
And,
what-
like
I
But
guess
you could
what I
talk
was.
to them
Oh,
about
sorry.
shoes in general.
that's what I'm
That's
saying.
me.
Yeah.
I think what I was kind of referring to in that part was for the podcast specifically, or for if you are talking in front of a lot of people, instead of it being on one-on-one. Because if it's one-on-one audience awareness, that's a lot more like, I'd be a lot more mindful of that. I guess I was thinking on a bigger scale, and I just didn't say that. Yeah, but kind of talking about like that language part where you're like saying how something can be like misinterpreted. For being like an ASL English interpreter, I have to be so like, I've started to notice like because of this class, like being able to recognize language and semantics and all of that, and just having like a much better understanding of it, that it makes it easier for me to like change like from English to ASL like in my head. Like it makes that so much easier because I have a much better understanding of that. And I'm actually kind of glad that we were able to do our first podcast on language and semantics, because I got to do lots of research on that like
Had to do
it like really built it up. Like at first I didn't notice it, and then I went into ASL like more in this semester, and I had such a better like grasp of how to interpret things, because we're doing a lot more interpreting right now.
Yeah, and isn't it like a lot of ASL like intuitive? Like it's a lot of like emotion behind.
A lot of emotion. There's different ways you can say things.
Lots of body language.
Yeah, lots
Literally.
of
It's literally
lots of
body
body
language.
language. Yeah.
That pun, bro.
Yeah, but like right now, this is actually I'm doing this right now where I have to take these long English sentences and I have to translate them and interpret them into just being 3 signs, and it's been probably one of the most difficult things I've done. But because I have a better understanding of language and semantics, I can use it's easier for me to figure out which words to replace, because I'm not using it word for word. I'm changing all the words. So it's usually never the same words, but I'm changing all of the words, so it actually works as just being 3.
It matches like the emotion behind it. as
But
well
it
as-
still has the same meaning. Yeah.
Okay, I know you probably have never watched it because you don't know shows or whatever.
You didn't have a TV growing up. I'm sorry.
But there's a particular episode of Doctor Who where someone tells the the companion, no, words are cheap. Tell me in one word what you need and why. Answer my questions in one word. And she can. Why are you here? Help. Why? Danger. And just things. I'm not doing a very good job of this. It's a
But
great
yeah.
scene. It's like it has a lot of high tension, and she's like struggling to figure this out, but she does, and that's what's so amazing. Language is so cool.
I mean, and that explains it really well, like how you just did that. That really explains, like, you don't need a whole elaborate phrase or speech to be able to get across a powerful meaning.
Oh yeah, no, and there's this thing called the flowers of rhetoric. It's, you know how Shakespeare's like really memorable, has like a lot of like alliteration and things that just feel powerful because they sound clever. That's literally the rhetoric. It used to be taught. It used to be taught because I went halfway between 2 different possible sentences.
Yeah.
It used to be
We're
taught
almost
in, like as part of the curriculum, along with like Latin and other things during Shakespeare's time, which is how he knew it. but like more recent years they have like cut it from the curriculum. But basically it's how to speak persuasively, how to hold people's attention, how to grab it and like make them seem interested. Problem is, this is also what a lot of politicians rely on as well. In order to speak, to become a great orator, you must know the flowers of rhetoric. And I actually have a book that is really hilarious. It makes references to like Yoda and Katy Perry and all these other things.
But how do you go from Yoda to
no, seriously, because like Yoda speaks in passive voice. You know, small I am, that's passive voice. Katy Perry was because I don't remember what it was called, but it was her song with like hot and cold. Yes, and like those opposites, one right after the other, that is a form of rhetoric of like, yes, but no, we will not do this, and all that kind of thing. It's a way to like guide the conversation anyway.
Yeah.
Semantics, language, very interesting. What else have we learned from this class?
Well, I think that kind of brings us right into perception. I mean, language and semantics and perception are really closely related. And I think one of the is a quote straight from the module. It was like, you see what I let you see. It was one of like, I think that really stuck out to me because like just in my life, like growing up and stuff, I was like, I really liked having a controlled narrative of what people thought of me and like what people knew about me. And so I'd be like, oh, this is like I didn't share a lot about myself, like in general. That's just the kind of person I am. And so having that you see what I let you see, it kind of like got me like thinking about this, and it kind of brought me into like customer service voice. Like, you know how you're a different person when you're working customer service because you have a different voice, you have a different, like it's that kind of like code switching.
So I was gonna say that, code switch. Ooh, yeah, like you're not the same person when you're at work than when you're with your friends or with your family and stuff like that.
And it occurs to me that people might not understand when we say code switching. So like code switching is basically where if you have a specific set of language for something like a hobby that you have, like I do both do Magic the Gathering, and there are key terms that are used and we'll just like throw them out. But if you're new, you'll have no idea what we're talking about. So
no idea what was happening.
Code switching is where we turn around and we say, okay, so that word, it's like this, or it's like this other thing. We're switching code to one that you can understand.
It's similar to audience awareness, I believe. Like I remember not too long ago, my anthropology professor was like talking about. I think she uses very, very big words like in her vocabulary when she just throws them out sometimes, and then she'll be like, "My bad, let me like audience aware like this like," and then she'll just fix it. But like, just in case, she says that for her, the reason that she does it is because a lot of us, we don't have like the same like level of education. Like everyone, like some people have went to school in different states or something, and so they might not fully understand or something.
Another phrase for that, another term for that is called layman's terms. It's actually the reason I really, really like the book and movie The Martian, because even though they have like these big, complex scientific terms and phrases and things, he's like, wait, no, I'm tired of saying this really long thing, so instead I'm going to call this unit pirate ninjas. And when he explains things like, of course duct tape works in a vacuum. Duct tape works anywhere. Duct tape is magic and should be worshipped. Things like that. It's so fun. But yeah, layman's terms. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
Layman's.
Like kind of just like throwing a title or throwing like an abbreviation to something that like it doesn't have a direct meaning to it. Like, is that what I'm understanding?
Sort of. Okay, so layman's terms is taking a complex concept, yes, thank you, and it's not dumbing it down, because dumbing it down means
simplifying.
Yes, kind
Basically.
of. Yeah, making it to where like you can explain it to anyone and anyone can understand it. So go ahead, you probably have.
I feel like a good example. If you're ever watching any like doctor show, they're like, oh, like they'll be explaining in great detail of what the condition is, and they're like, just give it to me straight, and they're like, you're gonna die.
You
know, like simply.
Because they're using a lot of medical jargon.
Yeah. So, but like obviously the average person wouldn't know all the actual terminology for most things in a hospital.
You had a heart
like,
attack.
Give it to me straight.
Okay, yeah, it's like when I get my like car fixed and the mechanic's like, oh yeah, you need your engine fixed, and I'm like, oh, I can drive still though, right? And he's like, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like that same thing. Like I just had to recently get my car in and fixed because they were like, I don't know what was wrong with it. They explained it, and I didn't catch a word of it because of that. Where they were like, your axle boot is torn. This is happening. This is happening. I was like, yo, relax. I need to. I was like, explain it to me. I don't know cars. Explain it to me. Not that way. And then somebody else came over, and they're like, oh, this is broken and that's broken, like pointing at something.
Yeah.
And like, this is how much it's gonna cost. And I was like, great, thank you.
This actually kind of reminds me of something that Professor Puff says all the time. Words don't mean, people mean. Because we assign meaning to words. And if that's a word we have never heard before, it just sounds.
Yeah.
So we had to actually provide meaning for it. And not just, of course, it doesn't just mean that. When it comes to like semantics and how there are synonyms for like, there's the difference between the cottage in the forest versus the cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
We assign that kind of negative connotation because of pop culture media things like, there's the movie Cabin in the Woods, horror film, great film. But there's also like a bunch of like older ones like with like Jason and, things like that. I don't know, with summer camps, which they're cabins in the woods. But before that wouldn't have been like a big deal. It wouldn't have been considered sinister.
Yeah, it's just those media attached to it make it have that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I actually saw something on TikTok earlier where it was like, oh, I'm going down into this creepy basement at my work, so I'm gonna play like hot girl music and strut my way down.
Yes.
And I saw that, and I was like, that's so true. Like I would do the same thing. I'd be like, yeah, that's put some upbeat music on while you're going into this creepy area, and it loses all of its like its fear factor.
I have another story, but I'm going to tell you after because I'm not saying that on.
Okay.
It's of a similar vein. What else have we learned?
Well, we talked about perception. We talked about our language and semantics. Talked about our communication.
Nonverbal communication. Conflict and conflict management. We haven't really had a lot of conflict.
I don't think we had a lot of conflict in this group. I do think that
we've had like a couple conflicting views, but
management style has changed.
Oh, has it?
I used to be, I think it's accommodation. I think that's the one that I was, where I'd be very accommodating of other people, and where I like put myself down to help them. And I think I've gotten a lot more up to being like compromise and collaboration. And being like, wait, no, I don't actually need to do that. We can both have what we want. We just have to sit down and talk about it and not actually like immediately fight about it. Yeah. And I think, sorry.
No, I'm just.
Oh, okay. I think we had something.
Active listening.
Active listening. I think we had something very similar when we were talking about like what sources we wanted to do for different podcasts and like what sections we wanted to do, what we wanted to dress up as. That wasn't. I wouldn't say that's like that wasn't like a big conflict. Like it wasn't like
but we had
the
conflicting
stereotypical
ideas.
conflict, but we had conflicting ideas, and we were very collaborative about it and finding out what would be best and what would fit what we as a group
and that's
like
how we
our vibe.
Oops, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's how we got to our costumes ideas.
Yeah,
Starting to do costumes.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that's kind of where we hit a roadblock a little bit, just like with like the research aspect of everything. Because like with me, like all the podcasts I did before, it was kind of more like free form. Like everybody just did their own thing. We weren't like structuring everything together. Obviously, we just chose like our 3 segments, and that was like it. We all just came with our own information.
Like a lot more
coming into this one. I feel like since we already had like that preconceived notion of like how to do things, we wanted to make it a little bit more professional. So then when we're talking about it more, trying to set it up in a way where it'll sound better, it's more organized, it kind of like threw me off a bit, and I was just like, why does it matter? Like to me, like it just like it. That's where I hit my roadblock. But I was just like, you know what? It doesn't even matter. Like it doesn't matter in the sense like I don't have to stress over it, And I'm just like, it's okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like where my first like compromises came in. Like everything else, it was more or less smooth. Like I feel like we didn't really have too many issues ever, or like what to talk about.
Although I will say, I still stand by my decision to not dress up as Teletubbies.
Oh, we should have done that.
I really was gunning
they
for
would
that.
have loved to see
I was
No,
really
it is
gunning for it.
cursed.
Just big inflatables. Oh.
Bro, could you imagine? I was gunning
Also,
for
we are
it.
but poor broke college students. How would we afford that?
I will work double time just
For
you.
real, I'll pick up a shift tonight.
I can't do that. I have a certain amount of shifts, because I work at a small business.
That's true.
I cannot just
So
pick
do
up
I.
shifts.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Small businesses.
But I mean, kind of just to double back on like what we kind of learned, or like what we've taken from the class. I have like a flat tone, like it doesn't change, and people don't know when I'm being sarcastic or not, or like when I'm joking, just because like my tone doesn't change. And I've been trying to be more aware of that. And then anytime I am, I come off as more sarcastic, I guess. Like when I'm taking orders, like they're like, dude, like you sound so depressed. And I'm just like, okay, let me try. And then like once I try to raise my tone, it's just like I don't even want to do it because like it's kind of like embarrassing a little bit.
No, go ahead.
It's just
this is a
vocal
safe
variety
space.
can be
We'll
hard,
just make fun of
especially
you later.
with.
This is a safe spot.
No.
Vocal variety
I
can
can
be difficult,
picture
especially with pitch. Because when I get really tired, my voice goes down like this, and it just kind of stays here, and it's very similar to yours. The whole thing is you have to focus on where if your voice feels in your throat. If that makes any sense.
No, definitely.
It's called a head voice.
No,
No.
get it.
Head voice is a complete. So
Oh.
head voice, you don't feel it resonating
You're
into your
wrong.
chest at all.
Right.
Sorry, I'm a choir kid.
Okay, then.
No, it's fine.
Like the difference between so if you can feel the rumbling in your chest, it's your chest voice versus if you don't
Yeah.
if you feel it more in your nose but you don't feel any kind of reverberation in your chest, then that's your head voice.
Oh. So this is your nose voice? Like it's like halfway?
Well, if it's nasally, it's very forward and in your nose.
That's what
But-
you sound like.
No.
Okay.
But anyway, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
But no, like my voice, it will change, but it's only like when I'm talking about something I'm like really excited about. Like
Yeah.
my voice, it'll get a little higher pitch. It'll sound more smooth. It's not gonna be as like grainy or like raspy. I feel like, in my opinion. But that's just like something I've tried to work on. But I feel like it's super hard because that's just always how I've been.
Just like adding more variety into your voice.
Kind of, but it's not just the variety. Because like if I just try to talk differently, I sound sarcastic. So
But,
it's
like-
more the pitch. if
Yeah,
anything.
but like instead of it being like that, like kind of like
Yeah.
Well, it also doesn't help our accents. Doesn't help really because if you
that's
listen to
true,
different
California accent.
what?
California accent.
Oh yeah, with all the vocal fry.
Yeah.
Because like if you listen to an Irish accent, it's always going up at the end of the sentence as if it is a question every time, which is kind of cool. But I imagine after a while, it's kind of hard to tell when they're joking and not.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends, really.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of covered a lot today. Like, does anybody have like any last thoughts on like anything about the class or how it connects anything in your personal life?
I have some last few things.
What?
Mostly, I think this is mostly just for us, but I mean this is our last time. Kind of like we're all going different ways after this, right?
Yeah.
I mean you're the only one who's staying here.
Yeah, you guys are basically just
I
leaving
mean we're
me.
all leaving you. I'm going up back to Vacaville. That's where the rest of my classes are for my rest of they're all college. Texas.
I'm going to Sac
Sacramento.
State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
we're
just had
leaving you.
some-
I'm sorry, but we can still send
Yeah.
you memes in the group chat.
I got you. Yeah. Well, I'll be the closest, so I can come down.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll spend
Texas
I'll spend that
flyout?
gas money.
Sacramento's
I
close.
just a drive, you know.
Sacramento,
When I wanna
yeah.
go
You
to
fly to
Casper
Sacramento,
Market.
we all go up to Sacramento.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
that'd be cool.
I'll
Yeah.
fly into
We'll
the
bring
Sac
Pop
airport.
and do another podcast.
He's gonna be like,
He's gonna get sick of us.
You guys can go. Like, we
Yeah. Okay. So I just had a few things. I wrote a little blurb about each of y'all that I felt like I wanted to write down. Diana, you have so much heart. You're extremely personable and have always brought a smile to my face since I first met you in that activity that we did in the first day of public speaking, where like you immediately got my number and we started hanging out in the back corner. And we just popped in. Yeah, we were very loud in the
Popped
back.
in us, we're in the
I know
back.
he came back and he looked directly at us every time. You constantly have new ideas on projects or just things that we talk about in general. Some are good and some are, you know. But whenever I've seen you take criticism on things, you never take it as a personal attack on yourself, and you take it and you learn from it and you build with it. And it's something I wish I had. Kamari, I don't remember like how we met. You were all of a sudden there. I feel like I've known you for years. You have this vibe about you that is very personable and makes it feel like we've been friends for so long when in reality it's barely been a year. You're very quick with a joke, even if it's just under your breath during a collage speech that only I hear and I have to hold my laugh in because we're watching somebody else's speech and you say something so quick and I'm like, that was so smart. I was like, I wish I thought of that. You surprise me often with very philosophical approach to life and situations. unintentionally giving me advice and a perspective that has served me well so far. I don't know if anybody's ever told you should be a therapist.
You know,
I don't know if that's
why
in
he's
your
taking psych.
I don't know if that's in your career path at all. And finally, Lexi. I'm sad that I didn't get to know you as long as the other two, as I've only really gotten to know you.
I didn't sit in the corner. It's
Yeah,
okay.
that's fine.
But that was a personal choice because I am very nearsighted.
Yeah, I mean, I got to know you. I consider myself lucky that I've gotten to see you settle and get comfortable with your speaking ability and style. I first saw you in the goal and the collage speech, and I noticed you were quite uptight, and that everybody was uptight. But I think you had a little bit more than other people did.
Oh yeah, I'd be shaking by the time
You
I
were
get
shaking,
back to my seat.
and there was all of that. And I remember, watching you grow very quickly from being that very uptight, your shoulders up, and you're kind of hunkered down like a turtle, and watching you grow and becoming a lot more comfortable in who you are as a person. Being comfortable, settling down, being calm, cool, and collected, knowing your system and what works for you, and having that strength. I think that is and a confidence in yourself. I think it's very admirable, and I hope that whatever path you choose, you don't lose that.
Thank you. Now I feel bad.
You all mean a lot more to me than I'd like to admit.
You're so sweet.
You are.
Nathan, you've done so good too. I remember the first 2 speeches that you did, you would talk so freaking fast.
So
And you're
Okay.
like, okay, bye. But now, look at the way you just spoke. You were so calm and collected. Aww,
I'm
we're gonna miss
100.
you.
Is it hot in here?
Well, you
Really
are
hot
wearing
in
a
here.
tweed vest.
It's really hot in here.
Speedo.
I'm overheating.
But you're always such a joy to talk to. I always
real.
love because I hope you
Even
don't
when
mind that
you're
we
being
kind of
so
kidnapped you in the card shop and kind of. Well, wait, I don't say kidnap, but we're like, hey, you should.
No,
come,
it
you
was
should come.
that. It was crazy.
And how
You were let me look at your old cards. I'm
Yeah.
sure. And the next thing you know, I'm in a group that I've never met before.
But we're surrounded by everyone wanting to help you.
Yeah.
And of course, we're like, hey, if you need any cards, just let us know. We probably have it somewhere in our bulk.
Yeah.
Just getting to hang out with you has been so fun. It's like I have another
I'm really
sibling.
gonna miss having this. I think this is probably one of. I'm gonna grieve this semester. I think.
Me too.
And this class
This is such a
specifically.
fun class.
I'm probably going to download all of or at least save all the.
Oh, I'm
videos
definitely.
Of
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
YouTube is forever.
Yes.
Well, let's.
YouTube. Calm down a little bit.
I'm so glad we didn't get canceled.
Yeah. Thank goodness. I mean,
Not too soon, right?
I just feel from my last thoughts that I felt I seen everybody improve, honestly. Coming from it, for myself, I know that my preparation was the biggest thing because I haven't been in school in a while, and it's my first 2 semesters back, and just learning the preparation process and being ready for things, it just makes everything in life so much easier, my personal life, assignments, other classes, whatever it may be. For Lexi, again, what he said, right? Obviously we all deal with anxiety, but it's worse for others. And we obviously can tell when it is worse for more so other people. And you've worked on that so much to the point where you're almost not even the same person anymore out here.
Mm-hmm. You hold yourself with such a confidence.
Yeah.
That was so obviously visible. I mean, I knew you from watching your first collage speech in public speaking, and then seeing your collage speech in this class that we did at the very beginning, and it was you were a whole different person. You carried yourself with such a different vibe. It wasn't oppressive.
Yeah.
It wasn't oh, I'm better than everybody. It was.
I'm not gonna talk because I don't know what to say.
It was it was so I could connect with it a lot better than when you were obviously anxious and stuff, which it's not fault to you, obviously
It was your first
anxiety,
day and
it's
Yeah.
it's your first day. It's seeing from day 1 to I guess technically the halfway mark because this is the end mark. I
I've
guess.
come out of my shell. Now I need to learn
Yeah.
moderation, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how life is. For Nathan, I feel your first couple speeches, again, it was a little fast, but also low. And I know that's also something that you've worked on, trying to speak up more. And I feel you're doing a really good job at that. You project your voice a lot more. You're more assertive when you're talking, and it's easier for you to bring in people's attention and captivate an audience. You're.
Your posture's better too. You because you're more confident. You're no
He's gonna
longer
fix
kind
it
of
now.
hunching over. 'Cause you're a
like,
tall dude, you know.
No, keep talking.
If you want, I actually still have my notes from last semester. 'Cause I wrote down from the very first speech because I wanted to see people's growth because I was curious. I still have my notes on all of you.
You, really?
I do.
That's so
crazy.
cute. What?
Oh gosh, I still have my notes from POF from forever. I have them in a stack.
You same. I have them. Well, I have them somewhere.
Yes, Dave.
And last but not least, Diana, I feel like you made a lot of good progress. You were never a bad speaker. I just felt like, coming into the class, I don't think you were really taking it too serious. Not to say that, it was just a joke, but I definitely seen your progression of where you're taking things more serious, and the way you've presented yourself during your speeches and during the podcast seems more in terms of somebody that's okay, I actually want to take this serious, not I'm just doing this for the grade or it's for a requirement. So just seeing that from you, because you're a funny person, you're goofy, and we love that about you, but the fact that you can bring it around and still bring that out, but also being serious and coordinated at the same time, I wish that I can kind of balance it out like that too, in terms of trying to be funny and also being serious at the same time.
You do a good job at it.
I try.
Yeah, you do a good job
You
at it,
have-
deadass.
You have a dry humor and just a humor that is so specific that you will say something and it takes me a second and I'm like, that was the funniest thing I've ever heard.
You just really you're smart. No, I'm not trying to glaze though. Let's stop this actually.
But
You got the gap.
I know what it is. I'm more of just quick in the moment type
Yeah.
humor. I don't think I could ever do stand up. I don't think I can be an actor and be a comedian.
No, that stuff has to be planned out. You're just authentically cool.
Yeah.
I feel like my thing is I'm with references, right? I'll just think just say something real quick that relates to whatever's going on, and that's just always how my humors have been. But I just feel try not to tear up me too much. I know it's
Bro,
the
I
last
was doing
podcast.
that. I was reading that and I was like, okay, wait, I can't see the letters anymore. I can't see the
Why
words.
is the screen blurry?
I was like, ugh. It's yeah, no, I was like, I put on eyeliner. I can't.
You put a lot more thought into this than I have. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I feel like our connection is really built over the last 2 semesters. Hopefully, in the future we can come back and do one more once we've been a little bit further in life,
Yeah.
Talk
so
about some more
fun.
experiences.
That would be a lot
Maybe
of
Pop
fun.
would let us borrow the studio.
Lost in translation 5 years later.
Yeah, maybe we could buy
Lost
the
in
studio.
translation.
Buy the
1
studio.
year later.
And buy Pop. And the dog.
Yeah, we're gonna hire Pop to be the one-man stage crew.
And the director.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and end this off here. My name's Kamari. I'm joined with Lexi, Nathan, and Diana. This was Lost in Translation podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.